everyone. It's Sunday night at 10 p.m. and you are welcome to our WCOAP special. Leigh, we've got a ton to get through tonight. Who do we have on the couch?
Well, yeah, we've got the world schedule to go through, but of course that's not why everybody's here, Des. Everybody's here because we've got the one and only Simon Brooke on the show. Good evening to you, Simon. That's all we're getting. We're just going to get a wave. That's pretty much going to be it. No more than that.
Is he playing with us? Is he playing with us? I can't hear anything he's saying.
You told
Is he on mute?
You told him to put himself on mute, Des. Have you told him to unmute himself?
Simon, you can unmute yourself now, young man.
I've done it.
Be free.
I only do what you tell me to do. If you're going to tell me to go on mute without telling me to come off mute,
I love the power. I love the power that we wield from time to time, Leigh. Not often enough in the week, I have to say.
It's a well-oiled machine, this one.
Listen,
it's been oiled for a long time now.
A lot of oil has gone in. There might be a little bit of rust from time to time. Although, Leigh, we did this last night. Doing it again tonight. Yeah, feeling sharp, fit. There's a hell of a lot to get through. Seriously. WCOAP is how we've headlined it. But of course, we're going to see probably, we think, the final satellite road to Vegas on GG.
I think possibly. So they dropped it down to 5 packages. And I made the comment last night on the show that that was a $60,000 guarantee and that 40-something odd thousand of that was being guaranteed in the satellite before that, the 531. So they've absolutely smashed it tonight. It's got 10 packages on the go with about $4,000 for 11th. Wow. There's 16 players left, so we're down to 2 tables, so we'll keep the tables up. I have a bit of a sob story because I jumped into the 140 satellite at 5:30 and I managed to squeeze through with I think about 1 big blind, and so jumped into this. Got about halfway through the field and had a horrible hand. I was down to about about 20. 18 big, something like that, so a little bit under average. A guy shoves under the gun. I've got ace king, so I decide to make the call. He's got ace 10 of spades. Flop comes down with 1 spade, queen high, and then it comes runner spades to basically cripple me down to about sort of 3 or 4 bigs, and just couldn't get back from that. So not to be, unfortunately, but a good run. Probably used my run good earlier on in it because I think I tripled up first hand in that satellite. I very much late reg that. So but we are down to 16, and we're going to be paying packages for the top 10, and when I say we, obviously GG, and then nearly $4,000 to 11th place. So we'll watch the fun and games as this gets down to it. The average stack is currently 14 bigs, so there's loads of play yet to go in this because we know that the average stack will get down to about 3 or 4 big blinds, I imagine, before we see the bubble for the packages.
Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, it seems to be all about Vegas at the moment, right? There's a lot of people preparing to go. A number of APATers have been there and have come back. We saw the Coldstream guys over the last couple of days. They were online last night. Simon, you had a trek to Vegas. We want to talk about that. We also want to talk about men's mental health, right? Which is something that you're involved in with a business that you're involved with at the moment. A super important topic. So I think we'll come on to that a little later. But Leigh, there's no question, right? Our loyal viewers out there, they want to find out about the World Championship of Amateur Poker. Why don't we start there? What headlines can we offer initially?
Well, I was going to put that question to Simon. So Simon's had a little sneaky peek of the schedule. Now you are obviously a connoisseur of the WCOP and all of the kind of events and variants that it's got in this. So we've so far said, obviously, we've said confirmed when the dates are. We've said it's Wednesday the 23rd of August to the Monday the 28th. I think we've teased that it's going to be 23 bracelet events. We confirmed that earlier on today. So when you first saw it about 15, 20 minutes ago, Simon, what jumped out at you?
Tom Brady.
There's no time for any mini golf. A little bit disappointing.
Time for mini golf. Yeah. I love it. Baboom.
I mean, it's incredible to pack that amount of events into those few days. When we were up in Nottingham a few weeks ago for the UK championships, there were rumours abound that the schedule for the for the Worlds was going to be increased, and that doesn't seem to have happened. But you've clearly squeezed a huge amount of events into those days. I mean, just looking at some of the days have 4 events, 5 events, some of them are 2 days. It's incredible. I'd love to see anybody pick it apart and moan about this one.
So I think one thing is clear. Nobody's going to be playing 23 events, right? This is about ensuring that there are lots of events in the schedule.
Whoa.
I don't think anybody, Lee. I don't think so, Lee.
Des, I saw that you had a message from Luca saying he might be coming over. Now, if anybody can do it, Luca is the man that could play all 23 of these, isn't he?
Luca could probably fit a fair number of events in, I'm sure. But nobody can get to 23. But I think what we're hoping for is that, if players exit events, there's always other bracelet events for them to go after. Lots of different formats, lots of different styles of poker. Should be good. So I can see that Ace has seen some stuff. Lee, I don't know whether we've put it live on Facebook or on the website.
We should have gone live. So what I will do, let me pop it up on the screen there, hopefully, so people can see what's going on. And so let's just quickly kind of work our way through it. Let's start with the main event first of all. It's 150 plus 30 is going to be our main event this year. And there are loads of opportunities and ways in which you can play it. So we're going to continue with our daily freeze out on it, where if you want to have another go at another day, you'd forfeit your stack. But we're going to have a day 1A. The very first one is actually going to be before we're even kind of there. It's going to be on the Sunday before, alongside another event that's taking place at Dusk Till Dawn. So if your first chance to try and qualify for the for day 2 of the main event will be on the previous Sunday, we're then going to have 2 online day 1s on the Monday and the Tuesday night. And then you'll then have another 3 opportunities, Friday, Saturday, and a turbo on the Saturday as well, to get through to the day 2 of the main event. That'll be on the Sunday. And once you're in that day 2, you're bagged up. It'll be 15% of the field, as it is for all of our championship events now. You'll all be in the money. And then we'll bring back the final 9 on the bank holiday Monday. So that's the plan with the main event. Then pretty much, as Simon says, there's pretty much 3, 4, 5 bracelet events on offer every single day. For the 6 days. Obviously, we've got the team event on the Wednesday and Thursday. That's an invitational. I think we're 12 countries at the moment in that. So looking forward to seeing all the guys that are going to be competing in that. And those that haven't yet announced their teams will hopefully get their teams announced in the next couple of weeks. We've got a 2-day 8 game in there. It'll be bringing back a final table on the Saturday. So the 8 game will be on the Friday. With the final table on the Saturday. And really, it's looking at the variants, I suppose. So the horse is on the Wednesday. We've got Raz on the Thursday. We've got Triple Draw on the Monday. And then an absolute stack of No Limit Hold'em and PLO games in there as well to play. So we've got Win the Button shootouts. We've got 8 max tournaments, bounty championships, Crazy Pineapple. There's aviation in there. We've got a PLO 4-5-6 game on the last day. I mean, there's just so much to fit in and play. As you say, you're not going to be able to play all 23 bracelet events or try and go for them. But hopefully what it does mean is whenever you're there, whatever days you're turning up, whether you bust from a comp early on in the day or you're turning up late one day, there should be something for you to play and get involved in the festival. That's why the hard work has gone in with both Tom on our side and the guys at Dusk Till Dawn to try and cram in as much as we possibly can. And it's what I will say is it's going to be 6 days of packed out Dusk Till Dawn.
It'd be fantastic.
That is for sure.
And we'll be streaming everything, right? Our daily updates and walking the floor and, some of the final tables. We might even get the main event on the Dusk Till Dawn stage. We'll see about that. But there should be a lot of content coming out of Dusk Till Dawn as well. So a lot of players there, big atmosphere, the international players, and of course events just happening pretty much round the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've tried to get the price points right. So we've got a high roller in there, which has got a 1 re-entry. And again, we've listened to what players have said. So we've always kind of taken the view, well, if it's a re-entry, we don't really want to make it a bracelet event. But we've actually said, no, actually, it is a championship event. It's a high roller. It's going to have 1 re-entry, but it will be a bracelet event. So all the events will be bracelet events. So that high roller is at 300 plus 40. But then there's a really nice mix of £60 and 120 games throughout the 6 days. So hopefully everybody will, from an affordability point of view, will be able to do that. We're obviously going to get some satellites up and running on GG for you to be able to pick up some packages or some ticket packages to try and pick and choose what you want to play. So hopefully there'll be no barriers to anybody getting involved and playing as much poker as they want to play over the 6 days.
Fantastic. Well, Leigh, look, let's go into the chat box. We'll touch base with the early chatters. First of all, so Steve was in there first. Hello, Des and Leigh. Evening to you, Steve. Mr. Haycock, who was brilliant last night. Hiya. Asa, evening all. Tristan, evening all. Barry Cullen, good evening, guys. Asa, what the hell is... Let's answer this one, Leigh. Do you have an answer? Do we know what Aviation, the 4-card no-limit hold'em game is? Can we advise?
Yeah, it's called Aviation, but it used to be, I want to say, Irish. Simon will confirm whether I'm right or not. So it's basically you discard one card pre-flop and then you discard another one post-flop.
Brilliant.
Is that Irish?
I think that is Irish, but in brackets it says 4-card no-limit hold'em. So I'm guessing that it is straight up for no-limit hold'em. I don't know why it's called Aviation. I've never heard it.
No, but I've seen the notes, and I think on the notes it's discard one card pre-flop and one post-flop. So I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Irish is 3-card, and you're discarding one card.
Yeah, so it's like a form of. I think it's like a form of Irish, but you get an extra card which you then
even sicker.
Yeah.
Even sicker, Si.
Yeah.
Asa goes on to say, absolutely love the schedule, by the way. Joe says, evening, chaps. Evening, Joe. Tris said, I could probably give 23 a go with rebuys. And no, Tris, he probably could. Jamie Lackaby's there. Evening, lads. Evening, Jamie. Ashley Partridge. Where can I get this? Leigh, where can I get this? So where can we redirect people into the group? Has Tom put it live in the group, or should we be going straight to APAT.com?
I think it should be live in the group. I'm going to just check and see whether it's live on the website yet or not.
So we're just checking, Ashley. It will almost certainly be in the APAT Facebook group, APAT Poker. Also check APAT.com. If it hasn't gone live there, it will be going live there very, very shortly. And at 11 o'clock, I think it'll all go live at Dusk Till Dawn as well. So there'll be no shortage of information very, very shortly. Chris Hibbard, hopefully play 3 or 4 events. Lovely.
If you go apat.com/WCOAP, the schedule is live on that page there now, already looking shiny and
brilliant
and presentable.
Mike Popgunoff.
Excellent.
Macedonia. Cannot wait to participate. Lovely, Mike. Really looking forward to meeting the guys. And it is going to be a fantastic team. The team event is always amongst the most competitive. Lee Wyatt, who took the honours last night. Hammers, right? Took the honours last night in the main event. Is back with us. Good evening to you, Lee. Dunk the Hat says played at Aviation Club in Paris.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to go to Paris for this one.
Apparently, if you did, that you'll have an added advantage in that. So I think you get bonus chips if you can confirm that you played at the Aviation Club. I think that's how it works.
Lee, Wayne, England captain Wayne Parker, a little upset. Raz clashing with a team game. Inevitable.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are always going to get a situation if you're playing in the team event. You're going to get some clashes with some of the events. Very little we can do, and unfortunately, the horse clashes on the Wednesday and the Raz clashes on the Thursday. But what we have made sure that the 8 game is the players will be free for that. And of course, the other thing is by. So if you want to play the 8 game and therefore you might be tying up your Friday and your Saturday and then you can't jump into the main event, well, that's the reason why we've got flexibility on the main event where you can have a couple of goes online if you want to, or if you're close to Dusk Till Dawn and want to play a live one on the Sunday before, you can do that. So what we try to build into this is as much flexibility for players for whatever your circumstances are, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're playing other stuff at this event or you're doing other things in life, whatever it might be, that basically you don't get disappointed and you can play as much as you possibly can.
And Lee, it worked really well at the UKCOAP, a turbo. So the last day one is a turbo. I believe we have a turbo day one I'm not sure what the letter is, which would also cater for any.
Yeah, we do. It is one of. So if you rock up on the Saturday, if you just if you can only get there for the weekend and you rock up on the Saturday and you want to still have a couple of shots at the main event, then you can play the day 1E at 2:00 on the Saturday. And if you're unsuccessful in that, there's a turbo that starts at 7:00. Exactly the same structure, just on a 15-minute clock rather than the 25-minute clock. And to be honest, sometimes that just suits some players that might just rock up and have a go at that on a Saturday night.
Absolutely.
And say that'll be their one shot, knowing that they can be returning midday on the Sunday for a day 2 if they can bag up some chips.
And 1 shot per flight, guys, with the exception of the high roller, which is a single re-entry. It's just 1 shot per flight on the main event. Big question from Mr. 40, Leigh. When can you buy in?
When can you buy in? We'll let you know when everything will be available to go live. You'll have the option of buying in via GG or also via Lux and Pay or direct at the Dust Till Dawn cash desk. So they'll be your options on how you want to buy. And as soon as we've got those all live, we'll let you guys know and you can get in. What I will say is, because of the all of these are going to have a kind of a soft cap on them. What Dust Till Dawn do brilliantly when they're running 4 or 5 tournaments at the same time is there'll be flexibility on depending on how the numbers are looking, so they'll be able to move resources around to try and make sure nobody gets disappointed. But if there's stuff you really want to play, strongly recommend buying in advance, and don't worry if if things clash, because you can just go to the cash desk and if you're still deep in another event, they'll sort you out a refund and switch it over to something else for you, or give you cash back on it, whichever you want to do. So
super. Lisa's out there. Evening to you, Lisa. Loving the schedule, guys. Great work. Thank you, Lisa. Ashley said everyone is doing a good job. Thank you very much. Dunk says, time to renew my love of APAT. We had our first online event back in 2006. I want to say September 2006, Leigh. I'm pretty damn sure Duncan Hodgkins probably in it. Asa says, Wednesday to Friday schedule is nice and easy for me. Just have to decide what to play Saturday to Monday, right? Ton of stuff.
Mini golf, Asa. Basically, mini golf on the Saturday to Monday. That's what you want. That's what it's all about.
That's fantastic. So Ashley goes on to say, just do live satis as well. They're just Dust Till Dawn doing any sats. So I think.
Well, we had a conversation. So we had a final meeting with Dust Till Dawn on. I've lost track this week, Des, but it was one day this week, wasn't it? That we had the final chat with the guys. Might have been Friday night. Might have been Friday night actually. And that was one of the things that actually was discussed. So Dust Till Dawn are keen on putting together some live sats. There as well, so keep an eye out on their schedule, because I have a funny feeling that they will be putting something together across a couple of the events they've got happening in the couple of weeks prior. So there's loads. As I said last night, in the UK, there's so much going on poker-wise. I know all the focus is on Vegas, and we'll talk to Simon in a bit about Vegas and his experiences over there for the last couple of weeks. But there's so much going on in the UK with Goliath and the WSOP Super Circuit event and our World Championships. It really is going to be an absolute crammed summer of poker.
It certainly will. Certainly will, Leigh. And finally, Chris says, does that include Luxon if you're playing something else? So I assume he's talking about, can you buy into side events on Luxon? I assume.
Yes. So Luxon will have all availability for buying in via their app. And then if you're bought into something via Luxon and you're still playing in another tournament and it's going to cross over, then you just need to go to the cash desk, just quickly nip away from your table, go and sort, and the cash desk will sort it out for you to make sure that you're not got stuck in a tournament that you don't want to be playing yet. So they can sort all that out for you. Not a problem.
Fantastico. So keep the questions coming, guy.
So that is it. I'd say it's up on the screen there, but really the best place to go and check it out is go on to apat.com/WCOAP, or have a look in the Facebook group, because I'm hoping Tom will have posted it up in there by now, but also it'll be on the Dust Till Dawn website as well, probably in the next 40 minutes or so. So loads of places where you can find any information. And if you've got other questions that we don't answer now on the show, pop them in the chat in the Facebook group, and if we don't answer, the community will answer, because that's what APAT does. So,
absolutely right. Dawn says so excited. Steve comes back. Des, what is the best website for me to sell parts of me during your games? There is a kidneys website on the dark
I was going to
web.
say, I'm assuming he's referring to body parts, so we can play.
It's got to be body parts. It can't be poker, Leigh.
I'm assuming that's what he's meaning. He's like, he wants another shot at the main event. How much is his left arm worth? Yeah, that's
depends on which arm you squeeze with, right?
Yeah,
your cards. Fantastic.
eBay's the best place to sell anything to do with APAT. That's the way forward.
Well, you could try in the group, Steve. You know, you could try in the group. Players will sort of say, "Here's my little schedule. Does anyone want to buy a piece?" We were talking today about 1.5 and 1.4. We've seen some really expensive quotes on "buy a piece of me" out there at the moment.
Yeah, and then you get some good folk that just sell themselves at spot because they want to give everybody an experience, a Vegas experience. They're the real people, the real poker people. Yeah,
Lee,
they're the ones. Yeah.
How'd that work out for you?
Well, I've no idea how it worked out for me. To be honest, we only got you on the show so I could find. I'm assuming you're just going to literally start throwing dollars at the camera or something. Is that how it's going to work? Yeah.
If I had some dollars left, I really wish the schedule had come out before I'd gone to Vegas and spent all my money.
Oh dear.
How did it go? Dear. How did it go, Simon? When did you go? When did you come back? And how was the thing?
So we went on, or I went on the 2nd of June. Ian was in Toronto for a few days. That's why we went early. We couldn't make late June work for us, unfortunately. So Ian came and joined me then on the Sunday. I'd already played the horse at the Aria by then, which was good. It was a great structure, but didn't cash in that. And then we moved downtown for a few days, played at the Nugget for a bit. I made a final there of a horse, but that was to be the only cash of the trip, unfortunately. But the real highlight for me was I went to so the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas shortly once they've got the stadium up and running and they've got those sources. So their minor team is the Las Vegas Aviators, and they play in Summerlin, and they've got their own little stadium there, and it's great. So I went down there on the Sunday and watched baseball, and I was sat right behind the pitcher and baking hot sunshine, a few cold beers. It was such a fun day, and I'd never thought about going there before. I think I even messaged Leigh like halfway through it and just said, "This is amazing."
I think my response back was, "Why the hell aren't you playing poker? We've paid you to be out there playing poker. What are you doing?" I think it was something along those lines. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I wasn't surprised, but I'd never thought about doing something like that.
It looked amazing, Simon. The pictures said it looked incredible. It really did.
What a brilliant idea.
So if there's games going on when people are there, I fully recommend it. It's a great day out. It's a few hours. It's down in Summerlin, so it's right next to Red Rock Casino as well, which is a great casino if you haven't been there. It's really nice little stadium. It's all clean. Everybody's friendly.
What sort of capacity side?
So capacity, I think it was about 12,500.
Oh, fantastic!
They had just over 5 when I was there for a Sunday lunchtime game. So it didn't feel crowded.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those sports where everybody seems to be sort of getting up and having a walk around and a chat, and you go and get a burger or a pretzel and a beer, and and have a chat with people. It's great. I mean, I was there on my own, and I didn't feel out of place. For
brilliant!
Second.
How nice. Tell me, was it a daytime sort of fixture or an evening fixture?
It was a lunchtime fixture, so kick-off or the equivalent was at midday. They had a game the night before, so this was the last game of the series against somebody from Utah. I can't remember who it was, but and it lasted 3 hours. It was a really exciting game. They were down by 1 run in the 8th innings, and then pulled it back in the 9th. So it was really exciting as well, and loads of banter with the locals, and it was I wholeheartedly recommend it.
Sometimes it's nice just to get away from the strip and the run-of-the-mill touristy type places, and that must have felt pretty authentic. Sounds great.
Absolutely.
Wow. This is on the bubble, guys. Just so you know, they've to 4,000 guaranteed. Meditabling shoved for 3.8 bigs and has been called by Damien Salas. Ace, what are you shoving with Ace Deuce for? That's absolute suicide.
Oh, he's at a deuce. He needs more of it.
This could be over very, very quickly.
Oh, what a disaster.
What an incredible way to just just to get that deep in the tournament. Okay, picking up $4,000, but that's that, simple as that. Damien Salas was the guy that I was on my table earlier on.
Did he win it?
He's won a package. Well, I recognise the name. I don't know.
I recognise the name.
Yeah, he's got about five. He's got about
something?
5 million of GG winnings. So
yeah.
So definitely. So
3.8 bigs. You're pretty comfortable there, Lee. What?
Yeah, incredible to shove like that with ace deuce. Complete suicide, really. In the tournament there, but yeah. So misses out, picks up $4,000, but that's that done. Wow, there you go.
Insane. So Lee, is that the end of our poker for the night?
Well, that is pretty much the end. There is still another satellite going on. There is a 250 satellite that started at 10 o'clock that's got late reg with one package guaranteed. So anyone that's thinking of getting into that, but that was but we weren't here we don't here to
not
talk
at all.
poker. I mean,
not at all. But you think they're probably winding this down now? I don't know if today will be the last day, but over the next week or so, they're going to be winding this down as the main event sort of approaches. We think that'll kick off in early July. Wow, mad, 3.8 bigs, mad.
Yeah. But that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. So Simon, any drama over there? Any incidents, or did it all run fairly smoothly travel wise, and as far as your accommodation, all of that good stuff was concerned?
It was pretty smooth. So we stayed at the Luxor for the first 4 nights.
Yeah.
I've never stayed there before, so I wanted to stay in the pyramid, which I mentioned to the receptionist that I'd never stayed there. Really excited, want to stay in the pyramid. So she gave me a view of the Nacho Place's roof, which was great. Couldn't see anything. That was
lovely. That's really nice of her. Yeah.
Did she put you in the room with the big light at the top?
That's the one. Yeah.
You could just hold this torch upwards. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Because there are people 11 miles up reading books. So if you just hold it steady.
Planes crashing all around us. And then we moved down to the downtown Grand, and the downtown Grand really is for me the only place to stay downtown these days. It's they've just renovated one of the towers. It's nice and cheap gambling. You get $5 minimums on craps and blackjack and 3-card and all the other games. They've got all the games, but they also have what I think might be the only blackjack tournament in town now. They've just
I wanted to talk about this because after your cash, and I know you were looking to see whether you could spin up that cash at the slots, and everything seemed shut or something, and then next thing you know, we're hearing that you and Ian had both jumped into a blackjack tournament. So how does that work?
Right. So there's a YouTube channel called the Las Vegas Advisor, which is hosted by a couple of old school Vegas degenerates, Anthony Curtis and somebody else. I can't remember his name. But they, as part of their website, they sell a coupons book, which is incredible value. So we got $150 off our stay at Downtown Grand for 3 nights. One of the offers is buy one get one free on the Palms buffet, which is a lobster buffet on Wednesday. I won't tell you how many lobsters I did in that buffet. It was obscene. And they do various other like match plays and so on and so forth. But one of their biggest advocates is Downtown Grand, and so he talks a lot about the blackjack tournament. It's only 25 quid. But they got, I think, with re-entries, probably like 50 odd runners for this tournament. We brought the average age down considerably.
I would have thought so. Yeah.
I think the usual average age is probably 90 plus. But so if you play really slowly, it gives you an edge because 1 or 2 of them might drop off towards the end. But it was a lot of fun. We met the guy that does the YouTube channel, and he was a gentleman, and had lots of time for us. We played this blackjack tournament. Ian butchered a couple of hands, but managed to get through. I don't want to say it was luck, but whereas I got knocked out with skill and professionalism. But Ian made the final, but bubbled, and I made the semi-final. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a couple of hours, cost $25, and in fact, I think we got a discount because we were staying there, so I think it cost us $20 each.
That's brilliant. So what do you have to do, Simon? Win your table to get through to the final, or maybe you come second to get into the semi-final? Is there something like that?
Pretty much, yeah. I think it was top two just go through to the next round. So
Yeah.
they had like a preliminary round, then they had a rebuy round, and then they had a semi-final, and then a final.
Brilliant.
And it was great. It was six-handed. You come in the top top two, and you're through to another table. If not, you can rebuy. And I mean the strategy was pretty simple. It was just wait and see, and everything goes on the last hand. But it was a lot of fun. And I recommend that.
Yeah, sounds great. $25. And how many, like, what value of chips do you get for your 25 entry?
You get 2,000 chips,
Okay.
and then obviously the top two at the end of that round, that particular round on your table, they go through. So you can tell if somebody's got sort of 4,000, somebody's got 3,000, you've still got your 2,000. You need to gamble, and or you can just bet 100 and sort of go through.
Sounds like the APAT cash tour, Leigh.
It was a lot like. Do you remember the old Survivor tournaments?
Yeah.
So it was a lot like that. Just
Fantastic.
really slow, nitty. Just.
And do they like bring you beers when you're playing little tourneys like that as well? Oh, that's outrageous.
I think we easily made back our $20.
Oh yeah,
in beer. So it was good, and the waitress service at Downtown Grand is incredible. Honestly, I can't recommend Downtown Grand enough. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Apart from when they have a big malfunction and all their machines go off at 1 o'clock in the morning for 14 hours.
Detail. Did that happen?
Yeah, it did.
Somebody's bound to have got sacked over that. I mean, that's costly.
I hope so. I mean, it saved me a fortune.
There you go. It's costly, right? Did you pop into the Horseshoe or wherever the other one is up on the Strip?
So I went over there just to play mixed games. I didn't necessarily want to play any No Limit Hold'em if I could help it.
Yeah.
And on Mondays, do you remember the daily deep stacks that the WSOP did back in the Rio? So they still have those in the Horseshoe. And on Mondays, one of their daily deep stacks is a horse tournament. So I played that on the Monday that I got there, and that was in the main Horseshoe room. And it was great. I mean, the structure was abysmal by the second level, I think, or by the second break. The average was like 2 big bets or something hideous like that. But it was great to play in there. And then we played the 8 game on the Sunday, the $1,500 8 game,
Wow.
which was great. That's the second time I played that. Played that back in 2016.
Yeah.
And it's it's a great tournament. Obviously, the structure is amazing because it's WSOP. Ian did really well. Both of us had Barney Boatman on our table for a period of time.
Nice.
And it was great to see him. Always a gentleman. And so we had lots of fun playing that, and just feeling. And that was in the Paris room, and that's really part of the WSOP. I mean, you really feel part of the WSOP doing that. And we played the Gladiator as well, which is the $300 no limit tournament. But that was a crapshoot. But again, it was a WSOP tournament, so it was great fun.
A big one. How did you find it organizationally, Simon? How was it to buy in? What were the lines like? What was how expensive was food or drink or stuff like that? Was it easy to get to a loo? What was it like?
I mean, most of it was a breeze, to be honest. The Gladiator, we had 6,000 runners on our flight, which was, just insane. And I think they had a similar amount on previous days. So you can imagine sort of 6,000 people getting up at break time and trying to find a toilet or trying to find their way out. But there were 20-minute breaks. We managed to, we were quite organised, actually, for us, to be fair. So we had a spot to meet, and we had a toilet that seemed seldom used. So we knew where we were going in those breaks. We knew how to utilise those 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We didn't have many of those 20-minute breaks. or not as many as we were hoping for, but we still utilised the ones that we had enough. So it was good. I mean, buying in wise, I'd heard horror stories about 2-hour queues and 2-hour queues to cash and all those kind of things. And so we went to buy in late at night because the kiosks are open 24 hours, which is great. And there's a lot of kiosks. We did have to queue for. We played another one of the No Limit Daily Deep Stacks on the Friday or the Saturday. We did have to queue for a period of time then, but it's fine. I mean, they've really got it down to a T, and it's 100 times better. Leigh, I don't know if you noticed this last year, but it's 100 times better than when it was at the Rio.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I didn't play much last year when I went over. I'll get that in now before Paul has a little dig that, you know, how would Leigh know about registering because he played one tournament. But yeah, from walking around and seeing it all, yeah, it's so much better the way it's organised than the Rio was. I never enjoyed the Rio. I just didn't find the whole experience enjoyable. And more people are using the Bravo app website now for buying in online as well, so that's all only going to ease the live queues, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're playing more than a few tournaments or you're planning on re-entering any of those tournaments, the Bravo app is the way forward.
Yeah. Was the 8 game you played the one that Sean Deeb won?
That's right. Yeah. Sean,
Okay.
Sean Deeb had some of my money.
Oh, does he really? Have you gonna? Did you ask for it back or like?
I
generally frowned upon, Leigh.
Yeah.
He's not come back to me yet.
When you see who was in the money in that particular event, I mean, so Sean Deeb won it, but I'm on the fantasy WSOP spreadsheet now, just having a look, and so yeah, when you look at the names there, Nick Schulman cashed in that, David Baker cashed in that as well, Max Speccatori cashed in that as well. Yeah, stacks of so names. So I imagine there was quite a lot. Jeff Lissandro playing it as well. So loads of players must have been playing. Even though it's a $1,500 tournament, it's an 8 game, isn't it? And there's not that many 8 game tournaments that you can play.
Exactly that, and it brings them all out. I mean, Ian was in two minds whether to play it. Ian Witt, who came with me, and I said to him, look, we're not professional poker players. We're all right. We have a small chance of winning this tournament as much as any other amateur does who doesn't necessarily play. But this is a mixed game tournament that we both enjoy. So the format is something that we enjoy, and for the experience of potentially sitting down with a Negreanu or a Helmuth or any of those other big names that you've just mentioned, it's worth $1,500 alone. I mean, they all unfortunately we didn't make the end of Lake Reg, and they all come and Lake Reg right at the last minute. And
are they all still doing that? So they're all still literally just jumping in last minute.
Yeah,
and
most of them. I mean, but looking around the tables on the day, they'll be like, well, that's a name that I know. That's that's a face that I know. I've seen him from so on and so forth. And so there are big names playing in that tournament. And somehow we travel the pond and we both end up playing with Barney Bateman.
I mean, of course, now it is a little bit suspect because you've got Sean Deeb in one of your fantasy teams. So I mean, is that chip dumping? I mean, that feels slightly suspicious, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's an expensive way of winning.
Expensive. Of winning like whatever it is. Oh dear. Well, it sounds like you had a great time over there, Simon.
Great time, and I mean everything's accessible. So 1 minute you're playing in the 1500 8 game tournament. You bust out and you can go and rail the 10k limit hold'em tournament that's happening in the corner, or the 600 PLO that's sort of running deep, and you go into the horseshoe room with the TV tables and all that, and you're seeing some big tournaments and big names, and it gets you excited about the WSOP again. I've come back sort of rejuvenated to watch a lot of the output on PokerGo, and just remembering what it was like to be there
and Des, Simon does know his stuff, because back on the fantasy, he's got 2 teams in the top 10 at the moment. So
really,
so this
nice.
this boy knows his picks.
He was out there spotting talent and all of that good stuff. Tell me, Simon, what was your Wi-Fi like in the room, or were you able to get Wi-Fi? Did you have a phone signal in there with so many people?
Wi-Fi was a bit spotty. It's usually very good everywhere I go in Vegas, but all of the hotels, all of the casinos, it was a bit spotty, and I ended up just using 4G most of the time.
Yeah,
which was fine. But yeah, Wi-Fi was spotty, and sort of cut in and out quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess with so many people, it's understandable. Like I guess within Paris and the Horseshoe. Leigh, you must be looking forward now. I mean, with every day, you must be. I saw Robbie Straczynski had put a post up a couple of days ago on social media just saying, I can't wait. I've got a week.
Yeah, I don't know whether you
thinking about it every minute.
I don't know whether you read Robbie's article, but it was an absolute love story, romance to poker and Vegas and
oh, we've lost you, Leigh. We've lost you, Leigh. Did you hit your mute or something?
No, definitely not.
I'm really disappointed to be missing Robbie while he's out there. Having met him in Malta and spent a bit of time with him and played in his mixed game tournaments. I'm really, really disappointed. I'd have loved to have been out there and played at the Resorts World with him. It would have been great. But,
no, good guy.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Great.
Definitely. So, have you got me back now? Is that
absolutely.
Yeah.
You just
no
it
idea
sounded
what
like
that
there was a
yeah.
bang or something, and then you went off for a little while, but you came back. Good to see you.
Really weird.
Back.
Yeah, no, look, so looking forward to seeing Robbie. Yeah, so about a week away till I go, and but say I think Robbie's out there from next week. I think so.
Yes, he is.
I know he definitely. I don't. Do you know anybody that loves poker quite as much as Robbie does? It's just something about it, and he's such a nice guy as well. It just is that's him, isn't it? Yeah.
Dan Williams probably comes as close second, but I'm not sure about the nice guy.
Yeah, but Dan's not as nice as Robbie, is he? Really? I mean, no.
I mean, nobody's as nice as Robbie, but Dan's pretty far down the scale.
Oh, that is hilarious. I tell you what, I feel like. I mean, we know Robbie very well. We've done a lot of stuff with him over the last couple of years, and I feel like poker is a release for Robbie, right? He's one of the loveliest guys you could ever know. But he's very serious. Behind it all, he's very serious. A lot of stuff he thinks very deeply about. He's super passionate about, living in Israel, even though he was brought up in the States. And, there's got to be sacrifices that you make if you choose to do that. So, I know there are divisions within him at times about doing it, but he's super passionate about it. I feel poker is a release, and I think that leads us nicely into, if you like, a topic that I think is super important, and it's something that you're involved in now, Simon, particularly working with the what do we want to call them, Talk Club, which is that is a super brand name. So presumably, whatever happens at Talk Club stays
at Talk Club. Yeah.
At Talk Club, I really like that, and this is addressing men's, particularly, I believe, mental health issues and stuff like that. And I guess Leigh and I have been doing this, call it a podcast or a live stream, whatever you will, for close to 3 years, Leigh. Jeez, man, this has gone so quickly. We started pretty much in line with COVID and lockdown and stuff like that. And a lot of people, came to us early and said, do you know what? It's really nice to have a bit of a podcast in the evening. Feel like we're part of a community. It's nice to just be able to get a release from not being able to go out, not being able to talk to people and stuff like that. And I think we probably all know somebody who has come out of that period, and maybe it's just because it's become more visible since then, but who's come out of that period somewhat damaged by losing contact with people and stuff like that. And of course, we all deal with things differently, right? So mental health does matter. Much more visible today, and that's a good thing. Talk Club is a community that seeks to address that. Now, I've got a little video that I'll play in a couple of minutes, but what can you tell us about Talk Club? How did you get involved? What do you think of what you guys are doing?
Sure. So yeah, Talk Club is something that's incredibly close to my heart, and is becoming more and more so, and is a huge part of my life now. I never thought it would be, but it's been going for about 3.5 years. Started as a CIC. Those of you who aren't au fait with how charities work, it's like a preliminary charity before it's given charity status. And we've been a fully fledged charity now for 2 years, which is great. And that's when I came on board, and I came on board as a treasurer and a trustee. So that's mainly because of my finance background. One of the co-CEOs, a guy called Gav Thorpe, who's an incredibly talented musician, has a few albums out on Spotify, actually, if anybody wants to have a listen to him. He's really great music. But we've been friends for about 10 years. We have lots of friends in common, but we'd see each other at birthdays, weddings and funerals. And always great to catch up with him then, but it'd be once a year. And so we went to a mutual friend's 40th birthday, and we were talking about the charity as he usually does, and how it's progressed in that time. And he mentioned that he's looking for a treasurer, and would I like to have a look at it? And it was at the time when we were, I guess, just coming out of lockdown, and I'd found lockdown hard, as a lot of people did, and I'd had my lows within lockdown, and my mental health, or mental fitness, as we kind of coined the phrase, never really had crossed my mind before, and how important it is to look after it and maintain it. And it was around the time that I've been thinking, well, I've got a bit too much free time. I don't have kids, or or wife, or whatever. So I was potentially looking into becoming a governor for a school, and seeing what kind of experience that was. And when he mentioned it, it kind of just fit, and that's how I got involved in it, really. And I went along and met all the founders. They were having a strategy day. Went along to that for a couple of hours, met them all, and just instantly fell in love with them and what they're doing, what they're trying to achieve. So it was a great way to sort of kick it off, and because at that time they were just becoming a charity, it was a perfect transitional time to come in, bring in the expertise that hopefully I could add to them, and the skills that I've got, and we've built that into a really successful brand, and it's becoming even more so. And in fact it's becoming probably a bit too big for most of us that are still there. But I mean, the USP of it is that it's talking about mental fitness, but it's also male suicide prevention. And it started with one of our co-CEOs, Ben Akers. His childhood mate, a guy called Steve, committed suicide. It was out of the blue. There'd been no signs of it. He seemed perfectly happy, fully functioning individual, and it took him by surprise, as it would. Ben's a filmmaker, so there's overlaps there between my day job and what he does, and so he created a film called Steve, fittingly, which delved into male suicide and prevention, and talked to his family and what effect it had on them, and all sorts of people, and as part of that, he wanted to get involved in suicide prevention, and he came up with the idea of the tagline of "How are you out of 10?" and getting people talking. And it's that tagline that really is the genius behind the charity, and differentiates ourselves from lots of mental health charities that are out there, because it gets you thinking. If you're in a pub and you say, so, "How are you, mate?" and your natural reaction is, "Yeah, great," or yeah, everything's fine. Whereas if you say, "How are you out of 10?" it really gets you thinking about
absolutely
about how you are, and it makes it a thing on a scale rather than, you know, just sort of a yes or no. So it's less polarizing than just being a yes or no answer.
I mean,
sorry, go on.
in doing a little bit of research, Simon, just to be able to talk to you about this, and looking at Talk Club and the way they position themselves, I must admit I found them super reassuring. And I'm going to play this little video clip, and it might run to 90 seconds or whatever, but it's worth watching. I found it super reassuring. Felt like the sort of place that actually, you know, be lovely to pop in, be lovely to have a chat, even if you're feeling great in yourself. Because who knows, maybe you can offer some support around a table, as it were. But let me play this, and then we'll just maybe talk about it afterwards.
What is Talk Club? Talk Club is a talking and listening community for men. A mental fitness movement, like going to the gym, but for your mind. It helps you check in with how you feel and own it. It's all based around how are you out of 10 and explaining why. So, how does it work? It begins online. Go to talkclub.org, join the online community, and find a club near you. Groups are held in private areas of public spaces where men feel comfortable, like above pubs or gyms. There are normally 8 to 10 men to a talk. The captain leads the group and reminds everyone to switch off their phones, to respect each other and give no advice. Everything stays confidential between the group. There's a talking ball, so everyone can take their turn to talk. And most importantly, not talk over each other. Each man talks while everyone else listens and then passes the ball on to the next man. The captain begins with how are you out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being on top of the world. Then try and explain why. After everyone has talked, we then move on to the second round. What are the positives in your life? What moments from the last week are you really grateful for? Family, job, hobby. Then it's, what are your plans for mental fitness this week? Sleep, diet, exercise. And then before we finish, checkout numbers. What are you now? This helps us to see that we can feel lighter than when we started. But it doesn't end there. You might want to join a talk and move group where you check in, do exercise, then check out. Or at the other end of the scale, need to talk more. We now have Talk Club group therapy run by qualified therapists. Talk, Move, Therapy. Join us at talkclub.org.
Beautifully put together, a very simple message, very, very important, no doubt. There's no question there'll be people, who watch this stream, who play poker alongside us on a monthly basis or whatever it may be, who in their own personal lives will have challenges. How would somebody get involved with Talk Club?
So, I mean, you're right. I mean, that film put it much more beautifully than I ever could. I wish we'd started with that film. It explained everything perfectly. I mean, that's exactly what we do exactly what the charity is about in a nutshell. Is getting people talking. And I think you're right. Poker is really prominent in this space because it's a lonely hobby. You're playing on your own most of the time, unless you're playing in an APAT team event, which is few and far between. But and so you're playing on your own, and you've got to get used to knockbacks and failure. Some people talk about cashing in 30 to 40% of tournaments, and they're really good players. Imagine what us terrible players are cashing in and failing, at a rate of. So it's really prominent, and yes, I'm sure that there are people in our community that struggle, and to get involved in Talk Club is so easy. Is you just go to the website. You join up. There's you can donate on a monthly basis as a subscription, but there is an option not to. So it's entirely up to you. You can try the service for a period of time. Find your local Talk Club. We now have 75 across the world. We've got one in Sydney, one in Singapore, one one in Bristol. Well, we've got plenty in Bristol. We've got loads in Bristol. We've started in Bristol, but we might even have one in Liverpool. You never know, and we do actually. And just go along and find the talk club. Go along. Don't go with any preconceptions of what it's about. It's a scary thing. When I've been to a few now, and the amount of anxiety that I had initially trying to talk to these strangers about my feelings, about what about what could be going better, what I'm grateful for, what's going right in my life is so difficult. But what I would say, there's no judgment. There's no. You can say as much or as little as you want, and nobody's going to judge you for it. So just go along to it. And if there isn't a talk club near you that's on the website, there we have online talk clubs, so you can do it via Zoom. And they're some people find it much more comforting to do it behind a computer screen. I can absolutely sympathize. I can see why. And if you really want a physical talk club, start one. We train our captains. Anybody that's interested in becoming a captain, please do get in touch, and we offer training for our captains, so that they can identify potential consistent low scores within people that go to their talks. And that differentiates us from other group talking services, charities that are out there as well. And also they get support as captains, because sometimes I think it's very easy to forget that the people that are doing the supporting, sometimes need the support as well. So they get ongoing support from one of our community managers. It's a great thing to be in part of. We also have a captain's weekend every year. I say every year. I mean, we've only done it once, but last year we were down in Glastonbury for a weekend where we all got together. We walked up to the Tor and back again, and had a couple of talks about mental fitness and a couple of other things. It was a great weekend and great to connect with those people. So anybody looking to get involved or wanting support, it's all there.
I love it, Simon. I love the positioning. Sounds like it offers a valuable support service. Leigh, I have to say, having watched that little video and stuff, one of the things that came to my mind was, wouldn't it be lovely to be able to host something like this at an APAT series once every month or whatever, on a Sunday morning. And frankly, if you're in need of a service like this, attending on a Sunday morning is never going to be an issue, right? Because, it's just nice to talk to people. So yeah, congratulations to the guys on what appears to be just a beautifully positioned, valuable service. There are some comments coming through in the chat box. So let's start with Tris. Tris says, great work you're involved with something like this, Brooksy. Well
Thanks,
done. Cy Allen says, wonderful initiative and so important in the poker world. Would be keen to connect over any way I might be able to help with Talk Club. Simon, lovely to see. Danny says, great work, Simon Brooke. Good on you for getting involved in that. Definitely something that will no doubt help out the masses. Paul says, great stuff, mate. Quite right. Steve goes into this quite deeply. Ultimately, the summary line is, just being involved in the APAT show streams over COVID, were valuable to him. And,
and to lots of people, I think, as well, Des. I don't think you can underestimate the impact that these shows had on a lot of people. Like I said, I was struggling. I had my down days, and I mean, even given your limited
talk about poker,
yeah, it was still fun to watch.
Yes, we're sorry, but we've probably hurt and damaged as many people as we've helped. To be honest, I'm sure it was the same for Leigh. It was certainly the same for I. And the moral of the story here is about communication, right? Sometimes you just have to be able to talk to people, right? In whatever way, and you know, maybe that doesn't even involve talking. Maybe it just involves listening and
no, it was interesting. We had Dara on the show a couple of weeks back, and we touched on this briefly. One thing you said, Simon, when you were chatting initially about poker can be a very lonely hobby, and that's very true. And I actually, and we were chatting to Dara about this, and said actually, I think in one of the strangest ways, Vegas can be a really lonely place when you're out there playing poker for a trip. And Dara said about when he's out there, he really goes out of his way to try and keep an eye out for people that are out in Vegas for the first time, maybe, or whatever, and making sure that they don't go through those low times. And if they are, that he's just there, we'll put an arm around them and go, how's it going? What's happening? Because as you say, poker is full of disappointment. Yes, we can have the kind of the real highs of of cashing in tournaments and final tabling tournaments, but the vast majority of the time it is a low, and it is right, what am I going to do next? My mates are still in a tournament and I bust, and I'm now in the middle of Vegas, and what am I going to do on my own? And I said about the first time I went out in 2015 and I played a World Series event and bust it, and I was sat in the corridor in the Rio, where obviously in between the rooms, and there was nobody else there, and all I heard was riffling of chips for 20 minutes as I sat there kind of going, what am I going to do now? And it's
completely empathize. I mean, I don't know about you chaps, but it's such a strange feeling. Even at Dust, when we're at Dust Till Dawn, busting out of a tournament is the strangest feeling I think you can have. It's almost like a feeling that you don't know what to do with yourself. It's you don't belong in that moment, because I don't know whether it's because we've invested ourselves into playing for so many more hours, or whatever. But busting a tournament feels bizarre, and I don't think there's any other feeling like it. It's real.
No, and if it's a big one, or it's a hand where you feel you've done something wrong, it can be playing in your mind for I know everybody says, "Oh, move on to the next one, whatever." But I remember playing the Wembley event and busting that, and it was a stupid hand I bust with, and I drove back down to Southampton as soon as I finished, and that's all I thought about for the entire journey back, was to play the hand over and over and over in my head. I mean, it's not doing me any good. What am I doing that for?
It's a bit of an Icarus effect, isn't it? Playing poker. I mean, we all get so close to these massive shots. We get so close to these big scores, and more often than not fall short. And it's a weird thing to have just going over in your mind the moment that you failed. It's like it's like asking a girl out and getting rejected, and all you can think then is you have your fist in your mouth, and you just like what if I did this differently? What if I did that differently? And it's
in your case, Simon, no.
but as guys we do exactly what Des just did there, which is we very quickly switch around to some banter, and we have a laugh about it, and we don't ever talk about it. And I think that's one of the beauties about Talk Club is. And as much as, yes, we could get to, maybe we do something APAT wise with it. But I think the fact that initially you could go to a group that's close to you, and you might not know anybody there. Therefore, there's no judgment from them, because they don't know you. They're going to listen to what you've got to say, and they're going to find out about you and be there to support you. And they're all there for having similar needs and needing similar support with a captain there that's trained and is able to kind of take you through that journey. I think it's quite a cleansing process to go through. I can only imagine. I mean, I'm involved with a couple of charities that are deal with kind of mental well-being, and I think very much what Talk Club does is unique in the way they go about it for men's mental health, and more importantly, and it's become very, very prevalent that in the world these days is around suicide prevention in men. The numbers are genuinely scary. They really, really are.
And there's a massive shortage of therapists, which means people aren't getting better. We're trying to combat that as well. So we contribute towards therapy training and trying to get more therapists out. We also refer people who have consistently low scores to therapists and make sure that there are therapists available. So it's it's a big thing, and like you say, Leigh, you can choose not to ever see these people again. And if you wanted to just go to one session and decide it's not for you, you're never going to see these people again. If you feel like even if you felt like there was that there would be potential for judgment, you're never going to see these guys again anyway. None of it matters, and it's it's a follow on then, and it means that what you've got to remember is these people are here because they felt like you, either in the past or they feel like you do now. So there's if there's judgment, then there shouldn't be any two-way judgment. Is what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's the point, Simon, that that when you're at a low, when you're in a dark place, you can often think that this is only happening to you, and everybody else's world is perfect. And we live in a world now with even more so with social media, whereby everybody puts out the best bits about them. And if that's all you see of people in their lives, their Instagram feeds, or they're at this event, or they're doing that or whatever, that's the bits that you see. You can assume that actually the rest of the world is totally rosy and everybody's in an amazing place. And then when you're having a bad time in a dark place, you kind of go, well, it's just me. But actually, do you know what? It really isn't. A lot of the time, it really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, on the poker front, Simon Allen says, I remember once messaging Paul Jackson 2 days after busting a tourney against him to ask his opinion of my play. Didn't really know Paul Jackson other than to say hi. And I guess what Simon is saying there is that was less about the technical way he played the hand, and much more about probably getting a message back from Paul Jackson that he didn't do anything wrong. It was probably just I need to put that hand out of the back of my mind. So this is the way I exercise that particular demon. Simon Lawler, isn't the poker hands after busting standard? I know if I go close to a rare, I know that I'll be recalling hands in my sleep, up to the point of sleeping and stuff like that. Trish says, suicide is the biggest killer in males under 30 in the UK. Simply has to change. He's quite right.
100%. Yeah,
and it's about getting that message out there. Now, Talk Club, you've got some high profile people that have been involved in the past and still involved now, Simon, which are helping to get that message out there.
Yeah, absolutely right. So we really try to think about charity in a different way, and a lot of charities will incorporate their charity status, and they will instantly go for as many grants and big donations as they possibly can, and there's nothing wrong with that. Those grants are out there to help. We feel the best way to be sustainable is to have a mixture of we still go for those grants, and we welcome any donation that we get, but we try and think of it from a more entrepreneurial point of view. So we like to partner with big brands or big celebrities in order to get the message across. And we were up at Anfield with as part of the Nivea campaign, shooting a short film with some of the Liverpool guys, none of which I'd heard of. Chris Kirkland. He was going to be one of our ambassadors. I think
Chris Kirkland has suffered. I mean, he has suffered deeply from mental well-being issues. And
so we were up there doing that as part of that. We just signed a big contract with a big manufacturer brand. I can't say the name yet, but they employ sort of 6,000 men in Bristol, and we as part of that deal, we're putting a community manager in there 1 day a week to run talk clubs between their 6,000 men. which will obviously then roll out to other companies. We've been speaking to companies like Rolls-Royce or big manufacturing companies where you find lots and lots of men in a small area, and that's big. Bristol Beer Factory, we have our own beer called Clearhead, which is a non-alcoholic beer.
Totally ironic. Love it.
Which is really, really nice. If you can get some Clearhead, I might even try and bring some up to Nottingham with me. It's a really good. You wouldn't even know it was non-alcoholic. It's really, really nice. We've got our own coffee through Wogan's Coffee called Talk Club 10.
Wow.
Which we get a percentage of the profits from. We partnered with Liam Gallagher recently, so we got him to wear our t-shirt. So we have a Liam t-shirt.
All right, sound kid.
Yeah, that was nice. For a Scouser, that was a good
hey, mate.
So he released his last single. We got all of the royalties from that, as well as the music video for it is somebody going to a talk club, having a lot of weight on their back, and then that's gradually decreased as they come into this talk club, and at the end it's a talk club. It's a nice video. It never plays it live. I don't know why. I think it's a nice song, but it's a bit like "Stop Crying Your Heart Out" by Oasis. But I think he wrote that one as well. Tyson Fury was another partnership that we had. So his single "Sweet Caroline," that was on behalf of Talk Club, and we get 100% of the royalties from that as well. Yeah. And there was a video knocking about. I don't know whether it was the official video, but
I've got one of the Tyson Fury t-shirts that's coming to Vegas with me in a week's time.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Carrying the brand.
So our t-shirts are basically the same t-shirt but different colours. So we've got the Tyson Fury, which is gold, the Liam, which is silver, and the Troy Deeney. We've done a lot of work with Troy Deeney as well, and that's blue. So I'll bring you up a t-shirt to Nottingham Des.
Fantastic. Would love it. Medium. I'll talk to you afterwards, Si. Right? Medium.
You're giving it to Shani.
What are you trying to say about Shani? No, listen. This is absolutely brilliant, Simon. So glad that we were able to have this discussion because, Leigh obviously has a lot of experience with charities. I've had a little bit of experience with charities, and it seems to me that not only have you got a great mission, but it seems like the ownership, whatever you might want to call the management, are switched on in terms of how to get the message out in a way that a lot of charities aren't. Right? They have great and important goals, but they find it hard to get the message out effectively. So it seems like
thanks for giving us the platform.
Oh, you kidding? I mean, if you can only help one person, right? So if one person somewhere along the line sees this video and it enables them to get some help, we'd be so happy. So talkclub.org, presumably?
That's right, talkclub.org.
Yeah. So if anybody out there, wants to avail of Talk Club's services, go to their website, talkclub.org, see what they do. I have to say, I found it super reassuring. So it seems like a really trusted space. Go and chat to somebody. It's always a good thing, right? And with that, Leigh, there is one other serious matter that I think we need to deal with, going back to WCOAP, before we shut this show down. And this is Steve Forty, right? Steve has asked, Des and Leigh, we are selling and buying a new house. Hoping to move end of July.
eBay, Steve. That's where you want to do it. eBay is the place to do that. If you're doing
Hold
your body
young
parts,
fella.
do your house and everything.
Hold there, young fella. His question's far more complicated than that.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
But it could be the start of or the middle of August. So he goes on to ask, if it moves towards the end of August, if I enter WCOAP, Leigh, can I cancel and get a refund? So I think the only thing that we could say, Steve, on that is you'd need to check with your estate agent.
Surely the first question should be, is it the same house?
Yeah.
Is it the same house? Is he selling and buying just one house?
Yeah, possibly. Could
Sounds
be.
like a
It
tax
sounds
scam. What are you trying to
yeah,
suggest there,
very much.
Si?
No, if you're buying in via GG, whilst the holding tanks are open, you can just unregister. So it's as straightforward as that. If you've bought in via Luxon, it's a little bit more tricky because you'll just need to speak to the cash desk at dusk till dawn for them to be able to do that for you. But yeah, it's never an issue. We've certainly never had an issue with players that need to actually unreg from an event or whatever. And obviously you can leave it with Luxon right up until until the day of the event if you want to. But just be aware. And Simon will confirm this because he's been to plenty of the World Championships over the years. That some of these events will sell out. That is for sure. In advance, not even on the day. They will be sold out in advance. So
absolutely.
Is this the first time APAT have ever run a Deuce to 7 triple draw tournament?
I don't.
By the way,
The triple
I can't remember.
maybe.
Did we not? What was the one we did at? Was it a stud triple draw we did at?
That was triple stud.
Triple stud was it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I go back to 2014, I think 2015. So obviously there are lots of people that go back in APAT further than me, but I can't remember a Deuce to 7 triple draw tournament ever being spread before. So
wow.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Simon's in the chat saying did the triple stud not get on the schedule due to the UK? I think it's just a case of it's been very difficult to have played them both, and I think Tom's decided to go for the two Deuce to 7 triple draw instead. And that was the Oracle speaking.
Shall I do it, Leigh? Shall I do it, Leigh? Let's do it. Oh, so glad we missed business time tonight, Leigh. I have to say it wasn't appropriate for tonight to do the business time.
So, but for anybody that has just tuned in and missed the world's news, just go onto the website apat.com/WCOAP. You'll see the schedule on there, or you'll find it on our social media channels as well. And I think by now, we've gone 11 o'clock. Yes, it'll be up live on the Dusk Till Dawn website now as well. So all the info there. So you can start picking and choosing what you're thinking you want to play and making your plans for which days you're going to head to Nottingham.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing you up there.
I think I'm going to be there for the whole time as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same.
Fancy playing some mini golf while we're up there?
We should play some mini golf. Definitely, we should play some mini golf. Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I'm taking the under on that. I have to say.
But it will, because it'll just be me and Simon. That'll be it, because we're not involving others again. That lesson learned from that. So if Simon and I want to go and play some mini golf, we'll just go and do that. We'll find some time to do that, and we'll probably do it. We'll also chew the fat a little bit. We'll have a chat about life. It's a good opportunity to do that.
It's always good time.
I'll tell you what, the best 2 or 3 hours of my I've had in the last couple of months was spent in Nottingham with this man at the UK event was it Saturday morning? It might have been, and we got together in the hotel bar and felt like we were chatting through a lot of the charity stuff. But really, just really, really enjoyable. To find out more about it and try and help and support. So what he's doing is incredible, because I mean, everybody knows I say I'm quite passionate about the charity sector, but without the people like Simon that are prepared to give their time, whether it's skills from their finance background to be in a treasurer role, or even just to be on as a trustee. Without boards of trustees, charities don't happen, because they've got no governance. Therefore, they can't run as a charity is supposed to run. So, and they're all volunteers. Trustees do not get paid. So anybody that's got any time and is prepared to give up some of their time to sit on a board in a charity and understand what's going on and offer their skills and input and guidance.
And it's
really hats off
responsibly.
to them.
These are often formal. These are important and serious roles. I mean, hats off to anybody who supports in that way. So I think you did a great job tonight, Simon, just representing the charity, explaining to us what it was about. It feels important. It feels like half an hour, very well spent for us all, really.
Thanks, Des. I really appreciate the platform and actually on that, those 2 hours that me and Leigh spent in Nottingham. I mean, he was so generous with his knowledge, and it was really, really appreciated, and just means that I'm just going to bug you about various other things now.
You said I said more than welcome to help out, because what you're doing is brilliant. And I know I guarantee you, I know somebody is watching this that's going to go either, wow, I think I could do with that, or they're going to say, I know somebody that could do with that, and they're going to be able to signpost that person to talkclub.org. So I am 100% sure that what we've done this evening will have brought somebody else into Talk Club that is going to benefit from it down the line. So
I hope so. I hope nobody's feeling like that. But if they are, then I hope that this video or this chat has pointed them in the right direction, and they get what they need from it.
Agree.
Cool.
Beautiful. Leigh, before we leave, the guys will be kicking off with top 10 this week. Do you want to just very briefly update on that for us? Yeah,
I suppose we should do. We've spent a lot of time doing the artwork. So I suppose
it looks amazingly. It looks amazing. I feel somewhat hypnotized. I need to play. All the games.
That's the idea. So 10 tournaments during the week, Monday to Friday. They're at 8:05 and 9:05 at the moment during the summer. $10 buy-ins, lots of different variants to play. Everything that we can do on GG we've thrown out there for the week. If you finish in the top 10 in any of the tournaments, you'll get some points. Grand Prix style points, so it's a point for 10th, up to 25 points if you win it. End of the week, so after the 10 tournaments, if you're in the top 10 on the leaderboard, we will turn your points into $T. Simple as that. However many points you've got in the week, if you're in the top 10 on the leaderboard, we will turn those points into $T for you. But better than that, for this week, GG are turning everybody's points into $T. Wherever you finish on the leaderboard. So if you play a tournament this week and finish in the top 10, you'll pick up some points and you'll get a little bit of a bankroll booster at the end of the week.
Is that on top of prize money, Lee?
Yeah. All the prize money is paid out every night for all of the tournaments.
That's insane. That's incredible value.
It's really
So if you pick and choose what you want to play, we're not expecting everyone to play all of them, although we know Tony Ross will, because Tony Ross will be going for the full 250. Simon, just so you know, $250 is the maximum you can do. We're confident Tony will do that in week one. So
he'll get it done.
The Ilford Room crowd love a bit of value. They don't like missing out on the value. So get involved if you can in that. It's going to be it'll be great fun. But play when you can, play what you want to play, no pressure whatsoever. But there's added value going to be given out every single week, and this week it's a super bonus. So
superb. Okay, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it a night there. What a great show. Thank you very much for joining us, Simon. Lovely to spend an hour and a half with you, as always. Good luck to all of you guys out there for the week ahead, right? So whether you're playing, not playing, Leigh and I are going to be back the weekend, Sunday night. Am I right in saying that, Leigh? You're still here?
I am going to do Sunday night, and all I'm going to go on about is the fact that I'm flying to Vegas the following day. So that's pretty much all you're going to get from me for the entire show.
To be perfectly honest,
I will be here. Yeah.
It's going to excite us all just to be in the company of somebody who's going to Vegas. So I'm
hoping I've got a few more contacts that are going to be in Vegas next Sunday.
We'll get somebody to dial in, right?
So I might try and see if we can get someone to dial in from Vegas, depending on what they're playing next Sunday. So Mr. Wigglesworth is deep in a tournament at the moment, because I was hoping we might be able to get a word with him tonight. But he's going well in a bounty mystery bounty hunter at the moment. So
fantastic, nice.
Yeah.
And Tony G had posted into the chat earlier on that he was still going in a
I did have his table up in the background. He bust just short in the end, so I was watching it. Yeah.
But I just thought, given the discussion that we were having, it was probably better not to have the game on the screen at the time. So that's us, guys. Have a fantastic week. We will see you next weekend, and until then, have fun. Cheers. Night, everyone.